An alternative to adding breakpoints or message boxes in is to add watches. Now, by adding a watch, you can ask the VBA to effectively keep an eye on the value of a particular variable, and if it breaks your criteria, that will then invoke the watch window. So if we take the watches file and go into the code, you'll find we've got the same cube root subprocedure, and instead of putting a breakpoint in, or adding message boxes or debug.print, etc., we're going to add a watch on the value of x. And if the value of x exceeds 1000, at that point we would like the code to break. So not every time we come around this loop, but only when a certain criteria is met. So we go to debug and choose add watch. We can choose which procedure and which module to watch for the expression within, and you can see you can actually change that to all procedures and all modules. It's not advisable, certainly when looking for the value of a variable name of x, because x could be used in lots of places. So I just want to check when x is used in cube root, which is sat in module 1, and I want to check when x is greater than 1000. If x is ever greater than 1000, I can either just watch the expression, in which case nothing will happen, but it will be recorded, and I can come and have a look at that at some later stage, or I can break when we break this expression. So when the expression evaluates the true, so effectively we have a value over 1000, it will break and I'll be dropped into the routine with a breakpoint at the point this occurs at. Or I can break when the value changes. That's useful if I just put a static variable in there of x without any criteria and just say break when the value changes. So when x changes to something else, that could break. So at the moment I'm going to break when this expression evaluates the true. So OK. Notice down here then a little watch window has appeared. If I were to close that window, I can reopen it from the view menu, view watch window, but it will reopen anyway when the watch is activated. So let's go back into Excel. If I were to run my routine on that set of cells there, you'll find that the watch pops up. X is greater than 1000 is evaluated to true. So I'm now in break mode. So I haven't had to go through every single loop here. I'm just dropped straight into the code at the point that X is greater than 1000. I can do the hover over thing and find that actually it's because it's equal to Guy, which is greater than 1000. So that's why I've dropped into this stage. Now I can step through, as we did before, debug, step into, or I can continue. So if I continue, I get to the error message label. Do you want to continue past this error? I do. Do you want to continue past this error? I do. And then I'm at the end and I finished. So that little watch popped up when I'd broken the 1000 point. Now it was a bit of an inadvertent break because it was because of Guy. But if I go and put a cell value in of greater than 1000, I can do this set of cells. And you'll see that it breaks as well. Evaluates the true, come and hover the x value, and it's because x is equal to 1092. So I'm dropped into the breakpoint at that point. So this is different to adding a breakpoint and you having to drop it into that point every time the code runs. This just drops in at that point when you evaluate the expression. If you want to get rid of any watches you've added, simply debug, edit watch, and we can delete from here. So that's adding a watch. Debug, add watch. You can either put a variable name or an expression. So that variable name, more than, less than, etc. Personally, I'd always say to name the procedure and the module that procedure sits within, so that the watch is not watching every single bit of VBA that's happening. And we can either watch the expression, in which case no break will occur, or you can break when the value is true, so wherever that expression is, or you can break when the value changes. So if you've just put a variable name in here, as soon as that variable's value changes, that will cause the code to break and you'll be dropped into the VBA to watch what's happening from that point on. Very useful for debugging. That little bit more control than the message box or the print or the breakpoint, because you can tell it effectively when to break the code and drop you in. So it helps you to watch for changes in the code. hence its name really, the watch.